In a world where every smile hides countless thoughts and every handshake means more than just a greeting, the true essence of a person often goes unnoticed. Today, we will explore the delicate balance of trust and deception, examining the complexities of human relationships through a Stoic perspective. The Stoics taught us that while we can't control the actions of others, our reactions and understanding can shape our social bonds. Join me as we uncover the hidden forces at play in daily interactions, discovering the wisdom that can help us live not just successful, but meaningful lives. Stay tuned as we break down these nuances, ensuring that by the end, you'll be better prepared to face the world with not just caution, but enlightened discernment. If you find value in what we're doing, please subscribe, and don't miss any part of the video to fully grasp the essential insights and stories we're about to share. Let's begin. Number 1. The manipulative friend. At first glance, this person seems to understand you better than anyone else. They nod at the right moments, and their empathetic smiles seem tailor-made just for you. But as time goes on, you start to notice a troubling pattern. Their understanding isn't genuine. It's a strategic play, using your vulnerabilities for their gain. They're like chess players in social interactions, each move calculated to advance their position, not to help you. When you're sharing and being vulnerable, they're not just listening, they're gathering information. This data isn't used to support you, but is often weaponized, pushing you toward decisions and actions that benefit them, not you. Their caring facade is just that, a disguise. Beneath the mask is not the ally you thought you had, but a strategist who views relationships as tools to be used, not bonds to be cherished. Stoicism teaches us to seek clarity over comfort and truth over pleasant illusions. Marcus Aurelius advised us to be wary of our impressionable minds and the intentions of those around us. He would likely suggest observing not just what friends say, but what they do. Their actions, how they talk about other friends when they're not around, how they handle your secrets, and how they respect your boundaries are the true indicators of their character. So how do you deal with a manipulative friend? Start by setting firm, clear boundaries. Share selectively, understanding that not every internal thought needs external validation, especially from someone whose motivations are questionable. Gradually distance yourself from their influence and invest more in relationships that bring positivity and growth. Real friends enhance your life and inspire you to expand, not contract. They add layers to your existence through support and genuine care, not through manipulation and deceit. Number 2. The constant critic. This person seems to have made it their mission to find fault in everything around them. Every project you undertake, every idea you propose, and every aspect of your personality never seems good enough for them. Their feedback often lacks the warmth of constructive criticism and feels more like relentless judgment, chipping away at your confidence and self-esteem with each comment. The constant critic often claims they are just being honest or trying to help you improve, but there's a fine line between helpful criticism and discouraging nitpicking. Their relentless critiques can create a toxic environment where, instead of growing, you find yourself guarding every action and word for fear of criticism. This stifles creativity and initiative, making you doubt your abilities and value. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears." This powerful Stoic reminder teaches us not to internalize the harsh words or negative perceptions of others. Stoicism invites us to consider the source of criticism and reflect on whether there is truth and value in it. If there is something to be learned, use it to your advantage. If not, let it roll off you like water off a duck's back. To deal with a constant critic, it's essential to maintain perspective. Understand that their criticism says more about their own worldviews, insecurities, or personal frustrations than it does about your capabilities or worth. Construct boundaries to protect your mental space. You can listen, assess, and then choose whether to accept or discard their words. Engage with them from a place of strength, acknowledging the feedback without allowing it to diminish your sense of self-worth. In Stoic practice, we learn to focus on our actions and reactions, which are within our control, rather than attempting to control the opinions or behavior of others, which are not. By applying this principle, you can preserve your inner peace and continue your journey of personal growth, even in the face of constant criticism. Number 3. The superficially friendly. At first glance, these individuals seem incredibly personable. With wide smiles, they'll ask about your day and give the impression that they genuinely care. However, you might soon discover that their warmth lacks depth, resembling a shallow puddle rather than a welcoming ocean. These social butterflies flit from one group to another, never settling long enough to form deep, meaningful connections. In the world of these superficially friendly people, interactions are often a series of pleasant exchanges that skim the surface of politeness but never dive into the essence of true friendship. They might be present at every party and appear in all your social circles, but when the chips are down, their presence is as fleeting as their commitment. True friendship isn't just about sharing laughs in the sunlight, it's about standing together in the storm, something these individuals may find too daunting. Stoicism teaches us the importance of genuine relationships and values a small circle of close friends over a wide network of acquaintances. Seneca emphasized the quality of friendships rather than quantity. He advocated for relationships where mutual respect and sincerity prevail, guiding us to seek friends who mirror our values and provide a stable, reliable presence in our lives. To navigate the realm of the superficially friendly, it's crucial to recognize the signs early. Enjoy their company if you must, in those light-hearted moments that require nothing more than casual interaction. However, invest your emotional energy wisely. Reserve the depths of your trust and the details of your vulnerabilities for those who have proven themselves in times of both joy and adversity. Cultivating discernment in your social interactions isn't just wise, it's necessary to protect your emotional well-being and ensure that your circle remains authentic. Number 4. The inattentive listener. You know the type. They nod along and might throw in a vague but you can tell they're not really engaged. They're physically present, but mentally they've checked out, leaving you feeling like you're talking to a wall that occasionally nods. These interactions can be incredibly frustrating because they lack the core of effective communication, genuine exchange and understanding. Relationships, whether personal or professional, thrive on mutual understanding and active engagement. When someone consistently fails to pay attention, it sends a clear message. What you're saying isn't important to them. This behavior not only disrupts the flow of ideas, but also undermines the emotional connection that true listening can build. Effective communication is a two-way street, and when it becomes one-sided, the relationship suffers. Stoic practice emphasizes present-mindedness, teaching us to fully engage with the task at hand. For Stoics like Marcus Aurelius, listening attentively is not just a courtesy, it's a duty. It's about respecting the person speaking to you by giving them your full attention, reflecting the Stoic belief in the value of every human interaction. If you frequently find yourself dealing with an inattentive listener, there are a few Stoic strategies you might try. First, make sure your own communication is clear and engaging. Sometimes asking direct questions can snap the listener out of their daydream and refocus them. If that doesn't work, a gentle reminder might be needed. Let them know you've noticed their distraction and encourage them to rejoin the conversation. However, if this pattern continues, consider the value this person brings to your life. Are they giving you the respect and attention you deserve? If not, it might be time to redirect your energy toward relationships where mutual engagement and respect are more freely given. Number 5. The empathy-lacking individual interacting with individuals who appear almost blind to the emotions of others can be particularly challenging. These individuals often seem to navigate life with a single-minded focus on their own needs and goals, frequently overshadowing or neglecting the people around them. Their conversations are typically centered around their personal achievements, problems, and perspectives, leaving little room for consideration of others' experiences. This behavior can make interaction feel one-sided, as if one's own feelings and experiences are consistently dismissed or ignored. This lack of empathy is not merely an absence of emotional intelligence. It represents a profound disconnection from the fundamental essence of human interaction. Such individuals may struggle to understand why their relationships are fraught with tension, confusion, and conflict. They might find themselves bewildered by the frequent misunderstandings that arise in their interactions, unable to comprehend why their relationships seem so strained. To understand this phenomenon more deeply, it's essential to recognize that empathy is not just about being aware of others' feelings, but also about valuing their humanity. Empathy involves an active engagement with the experiences of others, an appreciation of their perspectives, and a genuine effort to connect with them on a human level. When individuals lack this capacity, their interactions become inherently transactional, centered solely on their self-interest and personal narratives. In such scenarios, the Stoic philosophy provides a profound and practical approach to address and mitigate these challenges. Stoicism, as a school of thought, teaches us to look beyond our individual selves and recognize our interconnectedness with others. It emphasizes that our experiences and well-being are intertwined with the experiences and well-being of those around us. This perspective can offer a valuable remedy to the mindset of individuals who seem detached from the emotional currents of their interactions. Stoics like Epictetus, a prominent figure in Stoic philosophy, provided significant insights into the importance of empathy and understanding. Epictetus, in his teachings, emphasized that ethical behavior arises from our recognition of our shared humanity. He encouraged his followers to engage with others in a manner that reflects kindness, compassion, and understanding. According to Epictetus, acknowledging that we are all part of a larger community, each with our unique strengths, struggles, and triumphs, is crucial for meaningful and harmonious interactions. The Stoic approach to empathy involves several key principles. Recognition of shared humanity. Stoicism teaches us that every person we encounter is part of our broader human community. This perspective encourages us to view others not as separate or foreign entities, but as fellow human beings with their own emotional landscapes. By recognizing our shared humanity, we can approach interactions with a sense of connection rather than detachment. Cultivation of compassion. Stoics believe in the importance of cultivating compassion and understanding in our interactions. Epictetus, for instance, urged his followers to respond to others with kindness and to strive to understand their perspectives. This compassionate approach can help bridge the gap between individuals and foster more meaningful and empathetic relationships. Focus on virtue and ethical behavior. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on virtue and ethical behavior. It teaches that our actions should be guided by principles of justice, kindness, and integrity. By focusing on these virtues, we can navigate interactions with a sense of purpose and contribute positively to our relationships. Practice of self-reflection. Stoics advocate for regular self-reflection as a means of personal growth. By examining our own behavior and attitudes, we can identify areas where we may be falling short in our interactions with others. This practice of self-awareness can help us develop greater empathy and improve our relationships. Acceptance of what we cannot control. Stoicism teaches us to accept the limitations of our control over others' behavior and emotions. While we cannot change how others act or feel, we can control our responses and strive to approach interactions with empathy and understanding. By integrating these Stoic principles into our interactions, we can address the challenges posed by individuals who lack empathy. We can approach these situations with a mindset of patience and understanding, recognizing that their behavior is not a reflection of our worth, but rather an opportunity for us to practice and embody the principles of empathy and compassion. Moreover, applying Stoic principles in our interactions can lead to personal growth and development. As we strive to understand and connect with others, we cultivate our own capacity for empathy and enhance our ability to navigate complex social dynamics. This practice not only benefits our relationships, but also contributes to our overall well-being and fulfillment. Navigating interactions with individuals who lack empathy can be a profound challenge. Stoicism, a philosophy deeply rooted in virtue, offers guidance on how to approach such situations with grace and wisdom. The Stoic perspective emphasizes that our responses are within our control, even when we encounter people who seem indifferent or callous. Rather than reacting with anger or resentment, Stoicism suggests using these encounters as an opportunity for personal growth and self-improvement. Understanding empathy and Stoicism. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's a vital aspect of human relationships, fostering connection and mutual respect. When someone lacks empathy, it can lead to feelings of frustration and helplessness. Stoicism, however, offers a framework for responding to such behavior in a way that aligns with our own values rather than being driven by external circumstances. The core tenet of Stoicism is to focus on what is within our control and to accept what is not. When dealing with someone who demonstrates a lack of empathy, we cannot control their behavior or attitudes. However, we can control our responses. By practicing patience and empathy ourselves, we exemplify the virtues we wish to see in others. This approach is not about condoning or excusing their behavior, but about maintaining our own integrity and upholding our values. Practicing patience and leading by example. Stoicism encourages us to see challenges as opportunities for growth. When faced with a person who is emotionally detached or self-centered, this can be a chance to cultivate patience and demonstrate compassion. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By responding with calm and understanding, we not only adhere to Stoic principles, but also set a positive example for others. Showing empathy in these situations is an act of virtue, not contingent on whether the other person deserves it or not. It's about embodying the ideals of kindness and understanding, regardless of how they're received. This approach reflects the Stoic belief in acting in accordance with our values, rather than being swayed by the behavior of others. For instance, if a colleague constantly dismisses your concerns or fails to recognize your contributions, you might feel inclined to respond with frustration. Instead, a Stoic approach would involve maintaining a level of professional empathy, acknowledging their limitations without compromising your own principles. This does not mean you have to endure mistreatment passively, but rather that you choose to act in a manner consistent with your own ethical standards. Setting boundaries and protecting emotional well-being. While Stoicism advocates for patience and empathy, it also recognizes the importance of self-preservation. Engaging with someone who lacks empathy can be draining and may negatively impact your emotional well-being. It's crucial to strike a balance between showing compassion and protecting yourself from harm. Setting boundaries is an essential aspect of self-care. Boundaries are not about building walls or shutting people out, but about establishing limits that preserve your emotional health. For example, if interacting with a particular individual consistently leads to feelings of frustration or anxiety, it may be necessary to limit your engagement with them. This could mean reducing the frequency of interactions or being clear about your own limits in terms of what behavior you will tolerate. In the Stoic view, protecting your emotional well-being is aligned with the principle of living in accordance with nature, which includes respecting your own needs and limits. By setting boundaries, you are not abandoning your values but rather ensuring that you're able to practice them effectively. This also aligns with the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control, namely, how we choose to engage with others and how we take care of ourselves. The balance of compassion and self-preservation. Balancing compassion with self-preservation can be challenging, especially when dealing with someone who is persistently unempathetic. It's essential to recognize when your efforts to model empathetic behavior are being met with resistance or indifference. In such cases, it is appropriate to reassess the situation and determine if continuing to engage is in your best interest. Compassion does not mean allowing yourself to be mistreated or exploited. It means approaching others with understanding while also being mindful of your own needs and boundaries. A Stoic response involves acting with integrity, regardless of the response you receive. This might involve choosing to disengage from harmful interactions while still maintaining a stance of respect and empathy from a distance. The legacy of our actions. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, famously said, "What we do now echoes in eternity." This quote serves as a reminder that our actions have a lasting impact, not only on ourselves, but on the world around us. When dealing with someone who lacks empathy, our conduct reflects our character and values. By adhering to Stoic principles, you not only preserve your own peace of mind, but also contribute to a broader culture of virtue. Your actions, characterized by patience, empathy, and integrity, become part of the legacy you leave behind. It's not merely about changing the behavior of others, but about staying true to your own values, irrespective of external influences. Number 6. The persistent provoker. In the complex tapestry of human interactions, certain individuals seem to have honed a particular skill: the ability to provoke and irritate those around them with remarkable precision. Their talent for pushing your buttons can be almost artful, manifesting in ways that range from subtle jabs and backhanded compliments to more overt provocations. These individuals often play a meticulous emotional game, aiming to unsettle you for their own amusement or strategic advantage. They thrive on the reactions they provoke. Each annoyed glance or frustrated sigh they elicit is a small victory in their eyes, demonstrating their ability to manipulate your emotions. Engaging with such people can be profoundly draining. It feels as though you are perpetually on edge, bracing yourself for the next minor yet continuous annoyance they will introduce into your life. This constant state of vigilance can lead to emotional exhaustion, where every interaction feels like a battle of wits and endurance. It can become a tiresome cycle of irritation and reaction, leaving you feeling powerless and out of control. However, this is where Stoic philosophy can offer valuable guidance and support. Stoicism, a school of thought founded in ancient Greece by Zeno of Citium and later popularized by philosophers such as Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, provides a powerful framework for managing our responses to external provocations. According to Stoicism, it is not the external events or the actions of others that disturb us, but rather our judgments and interpretations of these events. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, encapsulated this principle succinctly when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This profound wisdom is particularly relevant when dealing with persistent provokers. The essence of Stoic thought is that while we cannot control the actions or behavior of others, we can control our responses to them. By changing our perspective and reframing our reactions, we regain control over our emotional state. Consider the following expanded application of Stoic principles in handling a persistent provoker. Recognize the provocation. The first step in managing your response is to acknowledge that you are being provoked. Understanding that the individual's behavior is a deliberate attempt to unsettle you is crucial. This awareness allows you to detach emotionally from their actions, viewing their behavior as a reflection of their character, rather than a direct assault on your emotional well-being. Examine your reactions. Stoicism teaches us to scrutinize our judgments and reactions. Ask yourself, why does this person's behavior affect me so deeply? What specific judgments am I making about their actions? By identifying the underlying assumptions driving your emotional responses, you can begin to challenge and reframe them. For example, if you feel irritated by a backhanded compliment, consider whether it is your own insecurity or expectation of respect that is causing the irritation, rather than the comment itself. Reframe your perspective. Once you have examined your reactions, use Stoic techniques to reframe your perspective. For instance, consider that the provoker's behavior might be a reflection of their own insecurities or issues, rather than a personal attack against you. By viewing their actions with compassion or detachment, you reduce their power to disturb your peace of mind. You might also remind yourself that their behavior is beyond your control, but your response to it is entirely within your domain. Focus on your inner peace. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of inner tranquility. The goal is not to change the behavior of others, but to cultivate a state of inner calm that remains unshaken by external disturbances. Practicing mindfulness, engaging in self-reflection, and adopting a stance of equanimity can help maintain your emotional balance. Engage in practices such as meditation, journaling, or deep breathing exercises to reinforce your inner peace and resilience. Set boundaries. While Stoicism teaches us to remain indifferent to the provocations of others, it does not advocate passivity in all situations. Setting clear and assertive boundaries is a practical step to take when dealing with persistent irritants. Communicate your boundaries respectfully but firmly, and be prepared to enforce them if necessary. This approach ensures that you maintain your dignity and self-respect while minimizing the opportunities for the provoker to cause further disruption. Reflect on the bigger picture. Finally, Stoicism encourages us to consider the broader context of our lives. When faced with daily irritations, reflect on the larger goals and values that guide your life. By keeping your focus on what truly matters to you, whether it be personal growth, relationships, or achieving your aspirations, you can place the provocations of others into perspective. This broader view helps you to remain centered and less affected by transient disturbances. Practicing Stoic detachment involves more than just a superficial level of calm. It demands a profound understanding of both oneself and the dynamics of interpersonal interactions. This approach is rooted in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, which emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. By focusing on this distinction, we can maintain our inner tranquility even in the face of external disturbances. When we speak of practicing Stoic detachment, we are essentially talking about developing an awareness of the intent behind others' provocations. To illustrate this, consider the analogy of a skilled musician playing a piece of music. If you understand the intent behind the music, the emotion the composer sought to convey, and the technical skill required, you can appreciate the performance more deeply. Similarly, When you recognize that someone's behavior is intended to provoke you, it becomes easier to detach from their actions and responses. Imagine for a moment that you are in a crowded room, and someone begins to speak in a loud, disruptive manner, seemingly to attract attention or unsettle you. If you see their behavior as an attempt to disturb your peace, you can reframe your perception of the situation. Their words and actions become like background noise, rather than the focal point of your emotional state. This shift in perspective allows you to maintain your composure and choose your response deliberately. This Stoic practice does not mean you ignore or deny the presence of irritation. Rather, it involves acknowledging the provocation without letting it dominate your reaction. Picture this in the context of a workplace environment where a colleague consistently challenges your ideas or undermines your efforts. The Stoic approach encourages you to recognize that their actions are likely driven by their own insecurities or agendas, rather than a reflection of your worth or capabilities. This recognition helps you to respond from a place of inner strength and self-assuredness, rather than being swept away by reactive emotions. Dealing with a persistent provoker effectively requires a shift in focus from confronting every annoyance to maintaining your inner peace. This is not about passivity or resignation, but about cultivating a state of mind that is resilient to external disturbances. True strength in this context lies not in the absence of irritation, but in the ability to rise above it. Consider the metaphor of a serene lake. When a stone is thrown into the water, ripples spread across the surface. If the lake is calm and undisturbed, it can absorb the impact of the stone without losing its overall tranquility. In the same way, when you cultivate a deep sense of inner peace, you can encounter provocations and disturbances without allowing them to disrupt your emotional equilibrium. This Stoic principle also extends to the practice of emotional regulation. It involves recognizing that you have the power to choose your responses to provocations. Instead of reacting impulsively or defensively, you can take a moment to reflect and respond in a measured manner. This practice not only helps in maintaining your peace, but also in fostering more constructive and positive interactions with others. Furthermore, practicing Stoic detachment enhances self-awareness and self-control. By understanding the underlying motives behind provocations and your own reactions, you gain insight into your emotional triggers and patterns. This self-awareness enables you to develop strategies for managing your responses more effectively, leading to improved emotional resilience and interpersonal relationships. Consider a situation where someone close to you consistently makes comments that you find irritating or hurtful. Through the lens of Stoicism, you would analyze their behavior and recognize that their intent may be rooted in their own struggles or insecurities. This understanding allows you to approach the situation with empathy and compassion, rather than reacting with anger or frustration. It also provides you with the space to choose a response that aligns with your values and promotes constructive communication. In practical terms, cultivating Stoic detachment involves several key practices. Mindful awareness. Pay attention to your emotional responses and the triggers that provoke them. By becoming more aware of these dynamics, you can better understand the intentions behind others' behavior and your own reactions. Reframing. Shift your perspective to see provocations as opportunities for growth rather than threats to your peace. This reframing helps you approach challenging situations with a more balanced and constructive mindset. Emotional regulation. Develop techniques for managing your emotions, such as deep breathing, mindfulness, or cognitive reframing. These practices help you respond to provocations in a calm and measured way. Empathy. Try to understand the underlying motives behind others' behavior. Recognize that their actions may be influenced by their own struggles or insecurities, and respond with compassion rather than judgment. Reflective practice. Regularly reflect on your experiences and responses to provocations. Consider what worked well and what could be improved, and use these insights to refine your approach to maintaining inner peace. By incorporating these practices into your daily life, you can enhance your ability to remain composed and resilient in the face of external disturbances. This Stoic approach not only helps you navigate interpersonal challenges more effectively, but also fosters a deeper sense of inner tranquility and strength. Ultimately, practicing Stoic detachment is about achieving a state of inner equilibrium that remains undisturbed by external factors. It is about recognizing the impermanence of external provocations and focusing on what truly matters, your own responses and your capacity to maintain peace amidst chaos. By embracing this philosophy, you can cultivate a more profound sense of inner strength and resilience, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with grace and composure. Number 7. The perpetual victim. Navigating the emotional turbulence of a perpetual victim. An in-depth exploration. In the realm of human interactions, there are individuals who seem perpetually ensnared in a cycle of misfortune and drama. These individuals, often described as perpetual victims, are characterized by their constant state of crisis. No matter the time of day or the nature of the situation, something is invariably going wrong for them. This recurring state of distress is not merely a backdrop to their lives, but seems to be the central theme around which their existence revolves. Understanding the perpetual victim. At the heart of the perpetual victim's behavior is a profound reluctance to address or resolve their problems. Unlike those who seek solutions or strive to overcome their challenges, the perpetual victim often appears to revel in the continuous cycle of misfortune. Their troubles become a form of identity, a way of life, and perhaps more critically, a mechanism for attracting attention and sympathy from others. One of the defining traits of the perpetual victim is their apparent dependency on the emotional support and empathy of those around them. This dependence is not necessarily born out of genuine need, but rather from a deep-seated desire to draw others into their orbit of crisis. By consistently highlighting their misfortunes and seeking validation for their suffering, they create a scenario where their friends and acquaintances feel compelled to offer support and solace. The emotional toll on others. Engaging with a perpetual victim can be an emotionally taxing experience. The constant dramas and crises that they bring into your life can lead to significant emotional strain. You might find yourself repeatedly caught up in their problems, investing time and energy in an attempt to resolve issues that appear to be perpetually unresolved. The relationship can feel like an unending cycle of crisis management, where your role is to provide support and intervention without any tangible resolution or improvement in their situation. Initially, the act of offering support to someone in distress can be fulfilling. It may give you a sense of purpose and significance, reinforcing the belief that your presence and efforts are crucial in their time of need. However, over time, this dynamic often shifts. The perpetual victim's reliance on you can lead to a one-sided relationship where your contributions are taken for granted. As you become more entrenched in their problems, your own needs and concerns may be sidelined, creating an imbalance that can lead to personal dissatisfaction and emotional fatigue. The psychological dynamics at play. To understand why a person might adopt the role of the perpetual victim, it is essential to delve into the psychological dynamics involved. For many, the role of the victim provides a way to avoid responsibility and escape from the demands of personal growth and change. By focusing on external circumstances as the source of their problems, they may evade the need to confront their own shortcomings or make meaningful changes in their lives. The victim mindset can also serve as a coping mechanism. For some, it is easier to accept the identity of a victim rather than facing the discomfort and challenges associated with self-improvement. This mindset can become deeply ingrained, where the individual unconsciously seeks out situations that reinforce their sense of victimhood. Impact on personal relationships. The effects of interacting with a perpetual victim extend beyond the immediate emotional drain. Such relationships can also impact your broader social interactions and overall mental health. The constant need to address someone else's problems can consume significant amounts of your time and energy, potentially leading to neglect of your own needs and relationships. You may find yourself feeling increasingly frustrated and resentful, particularly if your support is met with resistance or if the individual consistently fails to take actionable steps to improve their situation. Moreover, the emotional investment required in dealing with a perpetual victim can lead to a skewed perspective on relationships. The focus on one person's ongoing issues can overshadow other important aspects of your life, such as personal goals, friendships, and self-care. This imbalance can contribute to feelings of isolation and dissatisfaction, as the perpetual victim's crises overshadow your own needs and desires. Strategies for managing relationships with perpetual victims. Navigating relationships with perpetual victims requires a delicate balance of empathy and assertiveness. Here are some strategies that can help manage these interactions effectively. Set boundaries. Clearly define your limits in terms of time, emotional energy, and resources. It is crucial to establish boundaries to protect your own well-being and prevent burnout. Communicate these boundaries assertively but compassionately to avoid misunderstandings. Encourage self-sufficiency. Gently encourage the individual to take responsibility for their own problems and seek solutions independently. While offering support is important, promoting self-reliance can help them break the cycle of dependency. Practice self-care. Prioritize your own needs and well-being. Engage in activities that rejuvenate and sustain you, ensuring that you maintain a healthy balance between supporting others and caring for yourself. Seek professional guidance. If the relationship becomes too overwhelming, consider seeking advice from a mental health professional. They can provide strategies for coping with emotional exhaustion and offer perspective on how to manage the relationship effectively. Evaluate the relationship. Regularly assess the health of the relationship and its impact on your life. If the dynamic becomes too damaging, it may be necessary to re-evaluate the relationship and consider adjustments or, in some cases, distancing yourself for your own well-being. Stoicism, an ancient philosophical school founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium, offers profound insights into managing relationships, especially with those who might be characterized as perpetual victims. This term refers to individuals who repeatedly see themselves as victims of their circumstances, often feeling powerless and seeking external sources of solace and intervention. Understanding how Stoicism can guide interactions with such individuals requires a deep dive into Stoic principles and their practical applications. The Stoic perspective on control and acceptance. One of the cornerstones of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, articulated by Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher. According to Epictetus, we should focus our efforts on what is within our control while accepting what is not. This principle is crucial when dealing with someone who continually plays the victim. The perpetual victim often finds themselves caught in a cycle of blaming external circumstances and other people for their plight. As a Stoic, recognizing the limits of your influence is essential. Recognizing your influence. When interacting with a perpetual victim, it's important to understand that while you can offer support, advice, and compassion, you cannot change their situation or force them to adopt a different perspective. Their experiences and responses are ultimately beyond your direct control. You might provide guidance or a listening ear, but their transformation or willingness to seek change must come from within. Stoicism advises that we maintain a clear understanding of our role in the lives of others. While we can extend kindness and support, we should not fall into the trap of believing that we have the power to alter someone else's fundamental attitude or circumstances. This awareness helps us avoid unnecessary frustration and emotional exhaustion. 2. Practicing empathy with detachment. Empathy is a crucial component of human relationships, but Stoicism encourages us to balance empathy with detachment. This means showing compassion for the victim's suffering without becoming entangled in their emotional turmoil. For example, if a friend consistently complains about their unfulfilling job and feels stuck, you can empathize with their frustration but avoid taking on their anxiety or feeling responsible for their career decisions. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius practiced a form of detachment that allowed them to maintain their inner peace while interacting with others. This involves acknowledging the other person's pain and providing support without sacrificing your own emotional stability. By doing so, you remain a source of calm and reason, rather than getting swept up in the emotional chaos of the perpetual victim. Setting boundaries and maintaining balance. 1. The importance of boundaries. Boundaries are a crucial aspect of maintaining healthy relationships and personal well-being. If the perpetual victim's issues begin to invade your own life and disrupt your peace, setting boundaries becomes necessary. Boundaries help define the limits of how much time, energy, and emotional investment you can afford to give. For instance, if a colleague frequently seeks your help with their personal problems to the detriment of your own work, it's important to establish limits. You might choose to offer a specific time for discussions or redirect them to seek professional help if their issues are beyond the scope of casual support. 2. Encouraging self-reliance. Stoicism emphasizes the development of personal responsibility and self-reliance. When dealing with a perpetual victim, encouraging them to take proactive steps towards resolving their issues aligns with Stoic principles. Instead of merely comforting them, you can guide them towards actionable solutions and self-improvement strategies. For example, if a friend constantly feels overwhelmed by their finances, rather than providing ongoing financial advice, you could suggest they consult a financial advisor or develop a budget plan. Encouraging self-reliance helps the individual recognize their own power to change their circumstances, fostering a sense of agency and personal growth. Balancing compassion and self-preservation. 1. Compassion without compromise. Compassion is a core value in Stoicism, but it should not come at the expense of your own well-being. Stoics believed in maintaining inner peace and focusing on what is within our control. In the context of supporting a perpetual victim, this means offering help and understanding while also safeguarding your own mental and emotional health. For instance, if a family member repeatedly seeks your support and their demands begin to affect your own life negatively, it's important to balance compassion with self-preservation. You might express your willingness to help while also clarifying your limits and encouraging them to seek additional support or resources. 2. The Stoic practice of reflection. The Stoic practice of reflection can be a valuable tool in managing relationships with perpetual victims. Regularly reflecting on your interactions and emotional responses allows you to assess whether you're maintaining the right balance between empathy and detachment. Journaling or meditative practices can help you stay grounded and ensure that you're adhering to Stoic principles in your interactions. Number 8. The two-faced individual. In the complex web of human relationships, encountering someone who excels at deception can be profoundly unsettling. This person, often characterized by their ability to project a charming, friendly demeanor while covertly undermining others, represents one of the more troubling archetypes in social interactions. Their skill in presenting a facade of warmth and camaraderie while harboring hidden malice is not just a personal affront, but a broader social menace. Imagine a colleague or friend who appears genuinely supportive and engaging. They offer a listening ear, a sympathetic smile, and the appearance of sincere interest in your life and achievements. Their presence is marked by an almost magnetic charm, drawing you into what seems like a genuine connection. You might find yourself confiding in them, sharing your aspirations, vulnerabilities, and personal stories. It feels, for all intents and purposes, that you have found a trusted confidant and ally. However, this veneer of friendship is a meticulously crafted illusion. When you're not around, this individual's true nature emerges. They speak ill of you, spreading rumors or casting aspersions on your character. Their words, though cloaked in the guise of casual conversation or innocent gossip, are calculated to undermine your reputation and erode the trust others have in you. This betrayal, once uncovered, is a sharp blow to the heart, a painful revelation that someone you considered a friend could so easily turn against you. The emotional toll of discovering such duplicity can be profound. It's not merely the act of betrayal that stings, it's the realization that the trust and connection you believed to be genuine were fundamentally flawed. It can leave you questioning your judgment, feeling isolated, and grappling with a sense of profound disillusionment. The betrayal cuts deep, eroding the foundation of trust that is essential for healthy, meaningful relationships. The impact of a two-faced individual extends beyond personal betrayal. Their behavior can create a toxic atmosphere wherever they operate, whether in the workplace, among social circles, or within familial settings. In a professional environment, for instance, their duplicitous nature can sow discord among colleagues, breed suspicion, and foster a climate of competition rather than collaboration. Their actions can lead to a breakdown in team cohesion, with individuals second-guessing each other and struggling to discern who is trustworthy. In social groups or family dynamics, the presence of such an individual can result in similar disruptions. Friendships can become strained as the true nature of the two-faced individual comes to light, leading to conflicts, mistrust, and a pervasive sense of insecurity. The group dynamic shifts as members grapple with the fallout of the deception, often leading to a fragmentation of relationships and a general sense of unease. The motivations behind a two-faced individual's behavior are often multifaceted. At times, their actions are driven by a desire for personal gain. This could manifest as a quest for power, influence, or control within a group. By manipulating perceptions and undermining others, they position themselves advantageously, often at the expense of those they deceive. In other cases, the driving force might be a more base inclination towards enjoying the turmoil and conflict they instigate. The disruption they cause serves as a form of entertainment or validation for their own sense of self-importance. Addressing the issue of a two-faced individual requires a nuanced approach. Recognizing the signs of such behavior is the first step. These may include inconsistencies in their words and actions, a pattern of speaking negatively about others behind their backs, or an evident shift in their demeanor, depending on who is present. Once identified, it becomes crucial to set boundaries and distance oneself from the toxic influence they wield. Engaging in open and honest communication with others affected by their behavior can help to mitigate the damage and restore a sense of balance and trust within the group. It's also important to reflect on the lessons such experiences offer. They can serve as a reminder of the need for vigilance in relationships, the importance of verifying the sincerity of others, and the value of maintaining a sense of self-worth independent of external validation. The challenge lies in not allowing the negative experience to overshadow the capacity for genuine, fulfilling connections with others. Instead, it becomes an opportunity to build stronger, more resilient relationships founded on trust, integrity, and mutual respect. In the end, dealing with a two-faced individual is a profound lesson in the complexities of human behavior and the dynamics of trust. While their deception can cause significant distress, it also underscores the importance of authenticity and the value of surrounding oneself with people who are honest, supportive, and true to their word. Through navigating such challenges, individuals can cultivate a deeper understanding of themselves and others, fostering more genuine and meaningful connections in their lives. Stoicism, an ancient philosophical system founded in Athens by Zeno of Citium, offers profound insights into how we can navigate the complexities of human interactions and personal integrity. At its core, Stoicism teaches that our focus should be on our own virtues and moral character, rather than being swayed by the actions and behaviors of others. This principle is particularly relevant when we encounter deceitful individuals who may seek to undermine or betray us. One of the key tenets of Stoicism is the idea that we should cultivate our own virtues and act with integrity, regardless of external circumstances. This perspective is eloquently captured in the writings of Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher. Seneca emphasizes the importance of choosing our companions wisely, suggesting that it is often better to be alone than to be in the company of those who are deceitful or morally compromised. This advice reflects a deeper Stoic belief in the value of maintaining one's own ethical standards and inner peace. Seneca's guidance is particularly relevant when we face betrayal or deceit from others. It is natural to feel a range of emotions, including hurt, anger, and disappointment, when we realize that someone we trusted has acted with duplicity. However, Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot always control the actions of others, we can control our responses. Instead of succumbing to these emotions, which can cloud our judgment and lead us to act in ways that are inconsistent with our values, Stoicism encourages us to respond with reason and dignity. In practice, this means taking a step back and evaluating the situation with a clear and rational mind. Instead of reacting impulsively or seeking revenge, a Stoic approach involves maintaining our composure and adhering to our ethical principles. This might involve having a measured conversation with the individual, if appropriate, or simply choosing to distance ourselves from them if their behavior is irreconcilable with our values. By doing so, we preserve our own integrity and avoid being dragged down by the negativity and deceit of others. When dealing with a two-faced individual, one effective strategy is to reduce our emotional and personal investment in the relationship once their true nature becomes apparent. This approach aligns with the Stoic principle of focusing on what is within our control. By recognizing the signs of deceit and adjusting our level of engagement accordingly, we protect ourselves from further harm and maintain our emotional well-being. This distancing is not necessarily about harboring resentment or bitterness, but rather about recognizing the limits of our influence over others and choosing to invest our time and energy in more positive and authentic relationships. In addition to distancing ourselves from deceitful individuals, Stoicism encourages us to seek out and cultivate relationships with those who embody honesty, transparency, and genuine support. Surrounding ourselves with people who share our values and who uplift us both in our presence and in our absence is a key aspect of living virtuously. This environment of mutual respect and integrity not only fosters healthier emotional interactions, but also contributes to our personal growth and resilience. Choosing to engage with authentic individuals helps us to reinforce our own values and to create a supportive network that can provide encouragement and perspective. This approach allows us to thrive in an environment where our virtues are recognized and respected, and where we can build meaningful connections that are based on trust and mutual respect. Moreover, engaging with people who are genuinely supportive and honest contributes to our overall sense of well-being and fulfillment. Such relationships provide a positive feedback loop, reinforcing our own commitment to living virtuously and encouraging us to continue growing as individuals. This supportive environment also serves as a buffer against the negative effects of encountering deceitful individuals, helping us to maintain our emotional balance and focus on what truly matters. Number 9. The toxic individual. Navigating a relationship with a toxic individual can be akin to trying to sail through a tempestuous storm. The toxicity of such a person often manifests in a variety of harmful traits, each one compounding the damage they inflict on those around them. Understanding these traits in depth can shed light on why their presence is so destabilizing and offer insights into how one might effectively manage such a challenging dynamic. The complex tapestry of toxic traits. Toxic individuals are not defined by a single negative trait, but by a constellation of harmful behaviors that work synergistically to create a disruptive and harmful environment. Among the most common traits are manipulation, constant negativity, jealousy, and dishonesty. Each of these traits can erode the mental and emotional well-being of those who interact with such individuals. Manipulation is a key characteristic of toxic behavior. This trait involves a calculated effort to control or influence others in a way that serves the manipulator's interests at the expense of others. Manipulative individuals are often skilled at exploiting vulnerabilities, distorting truths, and creating scenarios where the manipulated party feels compelled to meet the manipulator's demands. This can lead to a profound sense of confusion and self-doubt, as the manipulator's actions can obscure reality and make one question their own perceptions and judgments. Constant negativity is another defining trait of toxic individuals. Their pervasive pessimism acts like a cloud that casts a shadow over every interaction. Whether through criticism, fault-finding, or outright disparagement, the negativity of such individuals can sap energy and enthusiasm from even the most optimistic person. Over time, this relentless negativity can contribute to a general sense of hopelessness and disillusionment. Jealousy in toxic individuals often manifests as a destructive force. This jealousy is not just about envy of material possessions or achievements, but can also extend to interpersonal relationships and personal qualities. A jealous person may undermine your success, create conflict in relationships, or seek to diminish your self-esteem, all driven by their own insecurities and fears. The impact of their jealousy can be deeply personal, making one feel isolated and unsupported. Dishonesty is another hallmark of toxic behavior. Lies and deceit can erode trust, a fundamental component of healthy relationships. When dishonesty becomes a pattern, it not only creates confusion, but can also lead to a significant erosion of trust, making it challenging to build or maintain meaningful connections. The constant need to second-guess and verify information can be mentally exhausting and emotionally taxing. The emotional turbulence of toxic interactions. Being around a toxic individual can feel like being ensnared in a storm, where every gust of wind threatens to blow away your positivity and inner peace. The emotional turbulence they create can disrupt various aspects of life, leaving you in a constant state of alertness and defensiveness. The influence of a toxic person often seeps into different areas of your life, from personal relationships to professional interactions. Their presence can cause you to doubt your own judgment, question your worth, and even feel fearful of their reactions. This ongoing uncertainty can lead to a pervasive sense of insecurity, where every interaction feels fraught with potential conflict or manipulation. Moreover, toxic individuals have a way of casting a shadow over joyful moments. They may dismiss or belittle your achievements, making it difficult to fully celebrate your successes. Their ability to turn your strengths into perceived weaknesses can undermine your self-confidence and make you hesitant to embrace your full potential. The constant strain of interacting with a toxic individual can be profoundly draining. It's not uncommon to feel emotionally and physically exhausted after spending time with them. The vigilance required to protect yourself from their negative outbursts or manipulative tactics can be overwhelming, challenging your mental and emotional stability. Strategies for managing toxic relationships. Handling a toxic individual requires a combination of self-awareness, strategic boundaries, and support systems. Here are some strategies to help mitigate the impact of their behavior and preserve your own well-being. Set clear boundaries. Establishing and maintaining clear boundaries is crucial when dealing with toxic individuals. Clearly define what behaviors are unacceptable and communicate these boundaries firmly. It's essential to enforce these boundaries consistently to protect your own mental and emotional health. Limit exposure. If possible, reduce the amount of time you spend with the toxic individual. Limiting exposure helps minimize the negative impact they have on your life and allows you to maintain a healthier emotional state. Focus on self-care. Prioritize self-care to counteract the effects of toxic interactions. Engage in activities that replenish your energy, such as exercise, meditation, or hobbies that bring you joy. Taking care of yourself can help rebuild your resilience and maintain your emotional equilibrium. Seek support. Surround yourself with a supportive network of friends, family, or professionals. Having people who understand your situation and can offer guidance and encouragement can make a significant difference in managing the impact of a toxic relationship. Maintain perspective. Try to maintain perspective on the toxic individual's behavior. Remind yourself that their actions are a reflection of their own issues and not a reflection of your worth. Keeping this in mind can help you stay grounded and reduce the emotional impact of their behavior. Practice assertiveness. Communicate assertively and confidently when addressing issues with the toxic individual. Avoid being confrontational, but be firm in expressing your needs and feelings. Assertiveness can help you maintain control over the interactions and reduce the likelihood of being manipulated. Consider professional help. In cases where the toxic relationship is significantly impacting your well-being, consider seeking professional help from a therapist or counselor. Professional guidance can provide valuable insights and coping strategies for dealing with the challenges posed by toxic individuals. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher of ancient Greece, provides timeless wisdom on handling toxic individuals through his assertion, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This profound statement encapsulates the essence of Stoic philosophy, emphasizing that our power lies not in altering external circumstances, but in mastering our responses to them. By reflecting on this principle, we can navigate interactions with toxic people more effectively, fostering a healthier and more balanced emotional life. Understanding the core of Epictetus's advice. Epictetus's advice highlights a crucial aspect of personal empowerment. Our reactions define our experiences far more than external events. In the context of dealing with toxic individuals, this means that while we cannot control the behavior of others, we retain control over our own responses. The toxic behaviors of others, whether through manipulation, negativity, or outright hostility, can significantly impact our mental and emotional well-being. However, by focusing on how we choose to respond, we reclaim our power and autonomy. The power of response. In practical terms, applying this Stoic wisdom requires a deliberate and conscious approach to how we handle interactions with toxic individuals. It involves several key strategies. Recognize your control. Understanding that you cannot change another person's behavior is liberating. Instead, focus on your own reactions. This might involve cultivating patience, maintaining composure, or choosing to disengage when necessary. By recognizing where your control lies, you can reduce the emotional strain that toxic individuals may impose on you. Set clear boundaries. Effective boundary setting is crucial when dealing with toxic people. Define what behaviors you will not tolerate and communicate these boundaries clearly. For instance, if a colleague consistently undermines your efforts, you might establish a boundary by addressing their behavior directly and stating that you will not engage in discussions that involve disparaging remarks. Enforce boundaries. Consistently. Setting boundaries is only effective if you consistently uphold them. If a toxic person continues to overstep, remind them of your boundaries and take necessary actions if they are violated. This might involve limiting interactions or, if needed, seeking support from a higher authority or mediator. Prioritize your well-being. Protecting your peace and well-being should be paramount. If a toxic individual's behavior remains unchanged despite your efforts, it might be necessary to consider distancing yourself from them. While this can be challenging, especially if the individual is a close friend or family member, sometimes detaching from toxicity is essential for preserving your mental health. The challenge of distancing yourself. Distancing yourself from a toxic person, particularly someone close to you, can be emotionally complex. It requires a careful balance between self-preservation and compassion. Acknowledge the difficulty of this decision and recognize that choosing to distance yourself is not an act of malice, but a necessary step for your own well-being. It's a way to protect yourself from ongoing harm and to create space for healthier relationships. Building positive relationships. While managing interactions with toxic individuals is important, equally crucial is fostering relationships that uplift and support you. Surround yourself with people who contribute positively to your life and encourage your growth. These individuals offer mutual respect, genuine support, and contribute to a nurturing environment where you can thrive. Building such relationships involves identifying supportive individuals. Look for people who share your values and aspirations. Seek out those who offer encouragement, constructive feedback, and who celebrate your successes. Positive relationships are characterized by mutual respect and understanding, providing a counterbalance to the negativity encountered from toxic individuals. Cultivating healthy connections. Invest time and effort in nurturing these positive relationships. Engage in meaningful conversations, offer support in return, and participate in activities that strengthen your bonds. Healthy relationships thrive on open communication, trust, and shared experiences. Setting a positive example. By embodying the qualities you value in your interactions with others, you create an environment that fosters similar behavior. Demonstrating empathy, respect, and integrity encourages those around you to reciprocate these qualities. Living according to your values. The ultimate goal is to live a life guided by your own values and aspirations. This means making decisions that align with your principles and contribute to your overall happiness. By focusing on how you respond to toxic individuals and prioritizing positive relationships, you create a life that reflects your true self. Reflect on your values. Regularly assess what is important to you and ensure that your actions align with these values. This reflection helps maintain a sense of purpose and direction, even amidst challenges. Pursue true happiness. True happiness is found not in avoiding difficulties, but in living authentically and in harmony with your values. Strive for personal growth, seek meaningful goals, and embrace experiences that bring joy and fulfillment. Exercise your right to choose. Remember that you have the strength and the right to choose the relationships and environments that support your well-being. This choice is a powerful aspect of self-care and personal empowerment, and that wraps up our exploration of challenging interpersonal dynamics. Remember, your peace of mind is invaluable, and who you choose to trust plays a vital role in protecting it. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-awareness and growth. I appreciate your presence in our community. Until next time, stay wise and serene.